the de-escalation of violence. I must emphasize the de-escalation, not the escalation of violence. Of violence while upholding the right to peaceful and lawful protest. Some statements being made and actions taken are having the opposite effect. Consideration must be given to the long-term implications of senseless destruction and violence. Arson, throwing stones and firing rubber bullets cannot in any way be perceived to be the solution. Any injuries caused to date to students, police members, and other bystanders is regrettable. The South African Police Service outright rejects utterances made and broadcast today claiming that we are a bloodthirsty organization seeking another Marikana. Nothing could be further far from the truth. The naysayers are undoubtedly disappointed that the South African Police Service has not fired live ammunition, and our members are strictly prohibited from doing so. We do know that there is provocation on the police, but we will not be drawn to a point where we are managing this situation with emotions. We will exercise maximum restraint at all times, and we call upon everyone to behave and conduct themselves responsibly. University management, political leaders, and other formations are requested to be clear on their respective roles and to act on agreements made during discussions, and we will not be drawn into the feast must fall if dialogue was the order of the day. But I think the situation invited the South African Police Service. As an organization, the South African Police Service resources are being stretched. There are other protests taking place in the province which also have to be policed to ensure the safety of our citizens. In addition, importantly, we have to address our key responsibilities of preventing, detecting, and combating crime. And it is a pity that we have to redirect our valuable resources to police violent protest actions. Our members are being injured during the course of their duties. A female constable was transported to hospital today, and our employee health and wellness practitioners were called out as it is traumatic to be confronted by stone-throwing individuals, insulting you, assaulting you day in and day out. The South African Police Service will deploy to any area in the country where the law is being broken and stability threatened. And this includes universities. We need no one's permission where crime is being committed. We will not hesitate to take action, albeit with minimum force, to arrest those breaking the law and instigating others to violence. We also find deplorable the actions of those resorting to exposing themselves as an attempt to detract police officers. I have advised operational commanders to ensure that the media is permitted to do their work freely, although within the bounds of safety. Actions such as deleting photographs will not be tolerated. In return, we ask of the media to allow our members to do their duties and to report fairly on situations at universities. Today, were made relating to the violation of a court order and public violence. Those arrested will be processed accordingly. I think it is safe for us to pause here and commit to ensure that we will police the fees must fall protest actions that are taking place. And we want to discourage those that have resorted to violence, those that have resorted to the destruction of property, because surely that is taking us as a nation nowhere. The infrastructure which is being destroyed is the infrastructure which is needed most to ensure that the institutions of learning do what they are supposed to be doing in allowing young people, young leaders of tomorrow to develop. Destruction of property, including stoning of vehicles, stoning of police vehicle, it's something that cannot be tolerated. And it can be a clever way of expressing your frustration if fees were not to be falling. We also have taken note of the fact that some of the people that are instigating or are leading in this process are not necessarily within the institutions. And some of them, I think they will be questioned with their being in and around the university precinct. But we will manage that going forward. I thank you all.
Thank you, General. We'll take questions now. We'll take 3 questions at a time, but you can just say your name and which media house you're representing. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Khomotso Phahlane from ENCA. General, just some questions about procedures at the point at which you've deployed and you need to use what you said is minimum force. In light of 2012, the events in Marikana, I think the South African, what guides you into taking a decision that now is the time to use rubber bullets, now is the time to use stun grenades, now is the time to escalate and use tear gas, etc., all the way up to live ammunition. And who's making those decisions in this particular instance of policing the protests at the campuses?
Thank you. That's first take from that lady.
Tando Kubena from Eyewitness News. Well, we had a number of students who were complaining about police using excessive force during these protests. Acting Commissioner, would you say the police have conducted themselves in a good manner from what you have seen, from what you have heard? I mean, there's footage that's also been, in the media showing the way in which police have handled the situation. Would you say this is correct? And how are you going to go about alluding to my colleague's question, having that balance in which you want to keep that law and order, but also making sure that students are not being violated at the same time?
Thank you.
Details of my theatre, ANA7. Acting Commissioner, you did just say that you've made 17 arrests today. I just wanted confirmation as to whether is this from WIT alone or different institutions. If so, please just name the institutions. And also the students who were released from the prison today, what are the conditions of the release? Thank you.
Thank you, General. We'll take the answers for that.
Thanks very much. The first question to Lasizwe, I suspect it's too of an operational question, which I'm not prepared to provide details thereof. Commanders and officers are well trained to exercise their discretion within the confines of the law, dictated by what is providing on the ground in responding to that particular situation. But I suspect in you there is an element of pride to know that since Marikana, the police have killed no one during a protest action, and we consistently have advised our colleagues to exercise maximum restraint, to act within the confines of the law, and we will continue to do that. I just said to you that no amount of provocation will draw us to that point where we are to lose control of the situation. Now, I may have to ask you, since you are a citizen of this country, at which point do you decide to use a stone against the police? And do you really expect the police to clap their hands while that stone is coming? Today, one of our members' legs or his leg was broken by students when they threw a stone at her. That was not the only one who was injured. And that's why we say that injuries sustained, whether it is students, whether it is members of the service, whether it is bystanders, are regrettable. But unfortunately, these are provocations coming from those that are supposed to be learned, those that are supposed to know and understand the consequences of their actions. If you look at the situation at VETS this morning, in actual fact, the firing of stun grenades and so on was triggered by members who were observing students that were busy damaging a police vehicle that was parked on the premises. I thought that part of our mandate as the police is to protect lives and damage to property, and we will do that within the confines of the law. Your next question was who takes the decisions. These are operational decisions, and in any situation, those that are deployed on the ground would have been empowered to be able to take such decisions. Part of the reason why we are here this time of the evening was to take stock of what had happened during the day and what is it that we are to do tomorrow and going forward in responding to the unfortunate situation that we all are confronted with, and to show how serious we are in dealing with this situation. We have designated a Deputy National Commissioner to oversee this process. We once again will call from all quarters, students, the leadership of the institutions, to, I think, get to that point where there is soberness and there is a serious element of engaging and hoping that they find a solution. We will want to focus on policing, but unfortunately, some of those day-to-day policing obligations are in a way impacted by the amount of resources which are being consumed by these actions. Thando, I suspect I've answered your question. I think under the circumstances, we have been reasonable in our approach. We will continue to do so. We will continue to act within the confines of the law and exercise restraint. If we were to use force, it will be what is commonly referred to as the proportional use of force as provided for in the laws of our country. I so wish there was such applicable to those that are protesting. to understand that stone throwing and burning property is not an answer. It's not where we start. I think we must spend much more time engaging, finding solutions. What is unfortunate is that we are demanding, fees must fall. And we know the economic situation that our country finds itself in. Not that the government is not taking that very seriously. But can't we exercise some patience and say at some point that will be delivered and not demand it today? I think students are better positioned to know that institutions have what is called merit awards. If they were all to be focusing on studying and excelling in their studies, the chances of them getting merit awards, which will boil down to them not having paid, are much greater. But there they are, destroying their own futures. Unfortunately, in this process, if anyone is to be charged, remember you will have a criminal record. So even if one day you are to finish with your studies, that record will remain, and it may impede you in gaining access to the labor market. And I don't think people think too far on the consequences of their actions today. And I'm saying this because I know that we get confronted with applications of people wanting their records to be cleared. It can be cleared if there is a finding, an outcome of court. It remains with you until it prescribes as provided for by the laws of our country. I don't think I want to deal much with students being violated. I've said that we have exercised the restraint and will continue as the police. Why will you have people undressing in public? How morally correct is that? Why, as society, do we want to celebrate such? I think we are going too far when it comes to some of these actions, and under the disguise of fees must fall. How is undressing in public going to make you to be respected? The dignity of a woman, which is under attack in this case, it can never be tolerated. So I'm not going to give a breakdown. We have given the number, it is 17, but I know that there were students at VETS and there were students at UJ Soweto that were arrested today. I unfortunately will not give that breakdown. I don't know what the conditions are because unfortunately I work for the police. Ours is to arrest and bring those that are arrested before a court, and if they are to be granted bail, I think the rules or the conditions applicable will be enforced. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Sorry, are there any further questions? Yes, sir. And then...
Thank you for indulging me. General, I can't not challenge you on some of the statements you just made. I feel, this is my view, some of them you've veered into the area of talking politics instead of talking policing matters. Your statement about the students, they're demanding free education, why can't they be patient with government? You use those words. Some would say it doesn't fall within your terrain and your domain. You are there to make sure that as they are voicing them, they are doing so within the confines of the law and not impeding other people's rights. So your comment on that, did you go too far? And particularly the last comment you just made about the women that we saw protesting and burying themselves. Some would say you're not a moral police. the morality police. Whether that's morally correct or not, what statement they were trying to make, that doesn't fall within your domain, and it basically says you don't understand what message they were communicating there about how they feel violated and how they feel they've been stripped of all dignity by a system. You just happen to have police officers there, but perhaps there was a protest that was bigger than what you are addressing.
Sorry, can I ask for a question instead of a statement?
So that is the question. I'm asking him to comment. My suggestion to him is you've gone beyond your mandate.
Thank you.
I think, Sally, let's deal with it before we go any further. There is nothing going beyond the mandate. Is public indecency not an offence? Who is to be policing that? Is it not the South African Police Service? So if you go and look at the common law, you'll find that public indecency is an offence, and therefore it is within our mandate to be able to deal with such. All what we would have done, once again, was not to escalate the situation, but exercise restraint. But if that was to be mistaken to be a political statement, I suspect you are wrong. I'm simply talking to what the law provides, and our mandate is to make sure that we police within the confines of the law. In terms of patience, what will make it political? If I were to say that what is preferred is that people should be patient, should engage, should go into dialogue instead of beginning to throw stones and burning property. What makes that to be outside the mandate of the police? I am not a politician, and I will want to stick to the policing mandate, and that's exactly what we are doing. We are calling upon students and everyone who has got an interest in this to still raise issues, but the issues must be raised in a very responsible manner. We are a country known for negotiations. It's not an overnight thing that you can demand today and get it today. And I'm saying, allow those negotiations and solutions to be found instead of engaging in what people are currently engaged in, because it's not taking us anywhere. Students are going to lose big time. I just used an example and say, you throw stones, you damage property, you get arrested, tomorrow you are being charged, you are being found guilty, it's a criminal record, it's your future which is doomed. What is wrong with that in advising and say, remember, don't be short-sighted. Think about the far-reaching consequences of your actions. So I really don't think that we have overstepped in this regard, and it is not our intention to venture into the political arena. That's an area we are not competent in. Ours is to focus on policing. Thanks.
Thank you, General. We have two last questions. There and there.
To Acting National Police Commissioner and your team. It's Kaya here from Kaya FM News. Maybe just to get a comment or two from you in relation to whether or not do you believe that you guys, you're having the situation under control. So are you managing to ensure that law and order prevails? And perhaps to some of your members who may find themselves in a situation whereby they contravene some of your rules, what will happen to those? Thank you.
I think, Police Commissioner, this might be a bit of a personal question, but most of the police officers themselves may not be able to afford the university fees that is raising kids that they're shooting today and putting stun grenades on, are fighting for their rights so that their kids can also be educated. how do they feel when they have to fire rubber bullets and stun grenades against kids who are fighting against the injustice of those who have been deprived from gaining access to higher education and those who have been blocked from the system just because they cannot pay their fees? And lastly, we will speak about the dignity of women being diminished with those girls who decided to show their breast. But in the African tradition, women did walk around showing their breast, and it especially does happen during the Khomotso Phahlane. So here we have a dilemma where the Western culture is also clashing with that of the African tradition. Who then determines what is diminishing for women? Thank you.
May I? Yes. Well, let me start with the very last one. And I think we have made our point, and we are talking, we are not going to be dragged into that debate. All what we are saying is whether you talk our culture, what happens there, and what was happening in the context is completely different. Why then did you only have 3? Why did you not have all women there being topless? So I don't think it's you are correct to try and bring the two together. And I'm talking here as a police officer, and I'm saying to you, there is a crime, an offence called public indecency. We are not going to be spectators and going to be quiet when the law is being broken. And that's why we are saying we discourage that, we condemn that, and we are saying, can we find ways of engaging to find a solution? On members, don't try and have them conflicted. I am a student at the university. You will not find me in the street, not that you agree with everything, but I think there are ways and means of raising the issue. People sitting around here, as you correctly indicated, the same police people that you saw there are parents to children in the institutions. They have the same pressures like any other parent, but that is not going to make us fold arms and be spectators when laws are being broken. In actual fact, you should be asking, where are the parents of these children that are behaving in the manner that they are behaving? Are we not, as parents, supposed to be calling them to order and saying there is a better way of dealing with this thing, like we will do? Not that we don't have children in those universities. Not that we are not students in the universities. But I think what is happening is something that we say it cannot be the only way, and it will be wrong if as society we were to condone what is happening. The police resources are being stretched. Tear gas, which is being pumped there, it's money, it's taxpayers' money. The rubber bullet, it's taxpayers' money. To keep those members in numbers there, it's money, which could have went into the prevention of much more serious crimes. When we communicated the crime statistics, we have told the nation that there is an area where we will want to do more, contact crimes that were on the increase. There you talk about murders, you talk about hijackings. You can deal a lot with those crimes if you were more visible, if you are deploying more police. Now, there they are at the universities, which are supposed to be institutions of learning. That's supposed to be the most peaceful place, because you have got learned people who are in a classroom situation. So I don't think that you are correct by trying to make